Welcome to Home Means, where the heart of Nevada comes alive. I'm your host, Heather Brown, and this is a place where we uncover the real stories behind the people who make our state extraordinary. From unforgettable adventures to everyday moments that shape us, this podcast is all about the voices, the faces, and the experiences that make Nevada truly unique. Let's dive in and get to the heart of what home means. As we reflect on 250 years of America, we often think about the ideas that make our country so great: independence, innovation, resilience, and the constant pursuit of a better future. But behind every generation of progress has been one of America's most powerful promises: education. Now, education is much more than just sitting in a classroom, reading textbooks, or even the degrees you earn. Education is the backbone of opportunity. It is how so many people build new lives, support their families, strengthen their communities, or contribute to something much larger than themselves. And right here in Nevada, that promise is especially clear. Across our state, community colleges serve as engines of access, workforce development pipelines, and upward mobility for so many people. They meet students right where they are, whether they're a recent high school graduate, working parent, a first-generation student, a career changer, a veteran, or people simply looking for a second chance or a new beginning. Community colleges are often the front door to the American dream. They prepare our nurses, teachers, technicians, entrepreneurs, public servants, and skilled workers who keep our community moving. Community colleges provide real-world, hands-on experiences that take what people learn in the classroom and put them directly in areas that our state needs the most. Whether it's building out our healthcare infrastructure, manufacturing, technology, hospitality, public safety, and we're even investing in industries that will define Nevada's future. As America turns 250, it is important to not only reflect on where we've been, but who we are planning to be and what we are preparing to be for the next 250 years. Because the future of America will not be built in one place or by one type of person or through one type of path. It will be built in our classrooms, in our labs, in our training careers, in our centers, in our campuses, and communities across this country. It will be built by students who choose to keep going. It will be built by educators who believe in the potential is everywhere around them. And it will be built by our institutions like our community colleges, where the promise of America becomes practical, personal, and possible. This is why this conversation matters. When we talk about education, we're really talking about the freedom, dignity, economic mobility, and the future of democracy. Because home means having a place to belong. But it also means having a path forward. And for so many, right here in Nevada, that path begins with education.
When you think about Nevada's contribution to America, what do you think our state does exceptionally well, and how does WMC make that possible?
Well, so what we're doing at WNC is we're not just opening the door for students, we're walking them through it and across the stage, and often that puts them in the workforce. And that has been emerging as a leader in lithium production and packaging batteries for EVs and other uses, battery storage. And it's been 10 years now that the state's been diversifying its economy with this manufacturing.
Yeah, I really appreciated how WNC has stepped up to kind of fill these gaps. And I remember when this was happening, being very forward thinking in what our state would need. We talked about the lithium loop. And we're the only state that could do it. But without the workforce, the trained workforce, that doesn't actually come to fruition.
Right. We've got to get the workers trained, and we've got to get them trained fast, because the employers are not going to wait for a 2-year degree. They're not going to wait for a 4-year degree. So what we're doing is building stackable credentials where students can get some training. It might be just 6 credits, 12 credits, some form of a few classes that we call a skills certificate. They go to work at an entry-level job, and then we bring them back as incumbent workers, train them up to a 30-credit certificate, associate degree, all the way up to a Bachelor of Applied Science. That way they progress, but employers immediately get the workforce that they need, and we can keep things moving, and we're not working on our normal calendar ever.
Oh, are you seeing that employers, that this is working for them?
It is. We have a number of employers who have said that they want to know the students have the skills, the credential can show that, but they want to check off boxes on shorter term credentials. And so that's working for them because it's accelerated people getting into the workforce. The other thing we've been doing quite well at Western Nevada College is building up our dual enrollment program, and that's high school students who are taking classes in the high school, which accelerates them. So if they jumped off out of high school graduation into a tech program, they could complete it sooner, and or they could explore more options while in high school to say, hey, that career's for me, or that career's for me. I didn't know that existed. And so the dual enrollment students who come out with a high school diploma and some sort of college credits or credential, that's a win-win for both the student and the employer. And we found out that a lot of these jobs that are emerging in our state are more than high school, but less than a bachelor's degree. And so that fits that niche right there where we're doing it at the community college. And once they run those jobs for a little while, then maybe they go back and get a bachelor's degree and move up into management and those kind of positions. But it's all flexible and it's all designed to meet students where they are.
Yeah, I definitely think our career and technical education dual enrollment programs are our secret sauce here. We're getting people into the workforce faster. We're making things happen. We're making that connection between the high school and bachelor's and getting them connected.
Getting them as a pipeline and letting them know they can do it. And if we want them to do it right when they come out of high school, because then they're already in motion. But the flip side of that is we do have a large population of working adults that we want to get trained up for jobs that are sustainable going forward. And then we had the addition to all the businesses building out. There was new construction with houses and more population. We've got a need on our rural communities that healthcare, for example. And so we're building up our nursing program at our Fallon campus, and we're creating a new nursing program, allied health program center at our Douglas campus. And so we're expanding out into the rural communities with the idea that it provides access not only for training for students who would have to drive 3 hours otherwise, but also if they train there, maybe they'll stay there and help with the expanding healthcare. And then when they stay there and that healthcare is available, that makes it more attractive for businesses to move in and say, hey, let's set up shop here. And that's happening a lot in the rural communities that we serve.
It's literally the foundation of building and accelerating an economic boom.
And developing the areas for what is needed. And right now we're seeing a lot of it in the advanced manufacturing space. A lot of that ties to lithium and battery production and now recycling. But who knows what's next? We talk about data centers. We talk about all the things that could show up. And there's a lot of talk about what that means for your own environment. You have to work through it. But at the end of the day, whether we're building a building or putting people in to run a building, whatever that sector is, you need trade workers. And that's what we do is we work with those employers to stand up the skill sets, create a program, and put people on their job.
What I like about Nevada is it really does care about its people. It really cares about the citizens. It wants to help them grow and be whatever they can be. And so for CSN, it is all about getting these students in the door and helping them grow with whatever skill they're looking for. That's what I think CSN can do to help promote what Nevada already does for its people.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about CSN is that you do have a program for anyone, whether it's a, non-credit one class, something that just gets you better skilled, or if you're going all the way to an associate's and bachelor's degree and you have everything in between.
Oh, I love it. Exactly that. So we are set up to be really the workforce engine of Southern Nevada in a lot of ways. One of it is about the non-credit side you just talked about. Come in and get a credential, something that helps them upskill or reskill. That one credit class that helps them with whatever it may be in their current job as an incumbent worker or to get that new job. But then also, hey, get a certificate with us or an associate's degree, transfer on if you want, or use that as a stopping point to be able to get that job that pays you $30, $40, $50 an hour. And it changes your life and it changes your family's life. We have so many different programs that I absolutely love that about what we do for Nevada in that regard.
Yeah. And the cool thing is Nevada is scaling, Southern Nevada specifically, right? We're going to have 3 million people there by 2030. Maybe it's 2040. We're going to have 3 million people there by 2040. And that means that the workforce is going to need to be more diverse. They're going to need to have different types of skills. And we are lucky to have CSN, which has, 42,000 students that they help in every capacity. So,
Yep. And what I love about that is that we don't even have a crystal ball to project what will be the jobs of the future. The one thing that's beautiful about a community college, especially from our non-credit side to our for-credit side, is we can be so agile. So if things shift, whole new product comes out or an industry need that comes out that all of a sudden we can say, we can develop a training tool around that quickly and get these people trained. Something we don't even think about today.
Yeah, I love it.
I think Nevada does an exceptional job of providing an opportunity for businesses and individuals to come here and find resources and a very easy environment in which to do business. I think there's a fantastic support from the governor's Office of Economic Development. I see these companies come in through the Zoom and petition to be able to come here and receive tax abatements or whatever it may be. They know that there's ample resources, and not only that, support from the state in the form of limited regulation. And I know that this encourages them to sign up and to try to come here and to establish companies and to hire and attract workers. And I think the pattern that I've seen is that it's working.
Well, you mentioned the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and we give abatements out for companies to come here. And one of the main abatements that we give is for manufacturing, especially advanced manufacturing. And I think TMCC has played such a crucial role in making sure that we have the workforce for that.
Absolutely. TMCC is often at that table. We are called upon sometimes by staff from GoEd to submit an application in order to develop their equipment or staff or programs to meet those workforce needs. TMCC often responds to those and shows up at the table and helps to drive that forward. So when EDON, for example, the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada, comes in and says, we have prospects who want to come to Nevada, they can point to TMCC and say, this is one of the assets in this region, one of many, but they are here to meet your workforce needs.
Yeah, I mean, you literally cannot bring and scale a business here if you don't have the workforce.
Nope.
So
Absolutely not.
TMCC is really the secret sauce behind meeting a workforce to meet our demands that our economic development agencies are going after.
Absolutely. And TMCC is also trying to tie in a lot of that braided funding from other sources, such as from the Department of Labor. Department of Labor grants presently through the Building Pathways to Infrastructure Jobs grant is providing the dollars to help the companies situate the workers, get them in the door, put them on payroll, give them benefits, and to see them trained in many cases the first 4 weeks at our college so that they're ready to hit the plant floor and work with the equipment and do so safely.
So, for Great Basin College in rural Nevada, one of the things that we do really well is train people in CTE programs. So, those are programs like welding, electrical, diesel, industrial maintenance, and instrumentation. Um, and with that comes people who bring families, who also are going to need education and healthcare. So Great Basin College kind of does it all, but specifically to mineral and industry partners, train that next workforce for Nevada. And then obviously gold goes throughout the United States and then outside of the United States. So that's what we're known for in our region.
And I've had the opportunity to tour a mine with you, and the thing I got from the mining companies was that they appreciated having a good partner in GBC. It was somebody that they knew was training their staff to come in, being prepared. I've actually flown into Elko with a family who had just moved here from Australia, and they were coming to GBC to finish up a course to go work.
Yeah, so our industry is one of those things that's pretty unique. There's a lot of innovation and technology. And so that partnership works both ways, both with our industry, them supporting our students, and then us boarding them with the workforce. And since we also have, additional critical minerals and our lithium partners, that growth in the things that we're providing in the state of Nevada is just exceeding even our own expectations and what we can also provide as far as the technology and things like that. So those partnerships are really important. Those partnerships also with the state and the federal government that also provides additional funding and resources so that we can provide the latest, greatest education. So we have a skilled workforce.
Well, and I know we've talked about this at length, but for the Elko region, and you're in Winnemucca and you're in Ely, you're in all of these rural communities, you've made a big difference in the ability for people to find jobs and matriculate. And, we talk about tourism, but mining is the second biggest industry in our state. And I've always been proud that GBC has been such a big contributor to the second biggest workforce in the state.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about, like economic development and kind of that grow your own, grow within our community. So we have those partnerships that we talk about with the scholarships, the maintenance training cooperative. We brought in just over $750,000 in scholarships for students that are graduating. So those students get roughly $6,200 per student, and then they get an apprenticeship on top of that. And so when we talk about like the economic development, once they even graduate, then they generate even, then they're employed, they have health insurance, they go shopping, they buy homes. And so you can really see that full circle. And as part of that full circle, we also have to provide things like healthcare workers and, like I said,
Yeah.
education, all of those wraparound services as well.
Yeah, it's always nice when the Venn diagram of workforce, economic development, and education can be seen. It makes it easier to make that connection for everyone.
Absolutely.
America's next chapter will be built by people in your institution today. So, what role do you think Nevada and specifically WNC play in preparing the workforce, leaders, and citizens who shape the country's future?
Yeah. So as the country moves forward, a lot of things are changing. The skill sets are, again, more than high school, but less than a bachelor's degree. Even nationwide, we see the number for half the jobs. But we've got to be careful that we're not training people for jobs that will be obsolete. And so when the AI boom is happening now, artificial intelligence, we want to be sure that we're training students to be able to work in industries that support that. There's no more, auto where you just check the tires and change the oil. I mean, you have to have an iPad. It has to connect to the internet. It runs all the codes. HVAC techs have high tech equipment now. It's not the old days. So we need to get them trained up with the technology that's going to be the future that's already here. And so as we celebrate 250 and as we look at the multiple generations of industrial revolutions, it's like they seem to become faster. The printing press was the first one, and then manufacturing in the old days with the assembly line, and now it's scaled up to now where it's running even faster. And as every time we turn around, there's something new. It went immediately from computers in the late 60s, early 70s in a primitive form to now we're dealing with artificial intelligence from movies that we watched in the 80s, so some of us watched. But it's real. And so we have to adapt students to be able to work in spaces where they have a high technical skill to be able to handle systems, because those base level jobs will go away. But there's other level skill set that needs to be trained for. And then that'll push the state forward. And as the state moves forward, the whole country moves forward, just in making us whole as a nation to be able to produce our own goods and services here, keep people working, prosperous lives, and all of that.
I'll tell you, my favorite thing about our community college system is I think it's nimbleness to be able to say, hey, this is coming down the pike. We got to get someone in, even if it's 6 credits, hopefully get them for the 30. I've seen it already just as my few years as a regent. And I think it's really one of our, the secret sauce.
We think we're good at it. And one thing is, like, for example, the battery recycling. That is a curriculum that is adapted from advanced manufacturing to meet the battery recycling needs. Battery recycling and advanced manufacturing both deal with robots and workspaces. The battery recycling has more chemical elements, which are stripping out elements. So that's a little component that we would add, but it's all built in the same framework. And when you have that kind of system where it's all related, we can stand something up really quickly. So if the new comes along, we'll grab it from somebody else and model by it, because we don't share curriculums.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me.
Thanks for having me.
The one thing about CSN, when you look at our population, was we're very diverse, right? We're a majority minority serving institution. We're bringing everybody who wants to come to college through our doors, because we are an open enrollment institution. And so what I think about what we can do to really support that is, if we have all the programs and we have that open doors, developing the environments where every single person who wants to come through our doors can succeed in that. And that's what Nevada is looking for. 250 years from now, I hope they would see as CSN continue that open door access and helping every single person who wants to walk through our doors to be able to find a home, a place of belonging, and therefore they know they can succeed because of the support we give them.
I think one of my favorite things about Nevada and Southern Nevada specifically is that we've constantly reinvented ourselves. And I feel like you and CSN in its 55-year history has been a part of all of the biggest changes. And we're just very lucky to have CSN and, your vision to be able to, meet students where they are. It's going to be really special.
I hope so. I just heard a data the other day. In 55 years of CSN, the very first class had 400 and something students, and now think about that, we're over 40,000 students. So we have grown as grown as Las Vegas has grown.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think Nevada right now is doing a great job of getting companies to come here and bring the workers and to attract those workers. And where TMCC can help establish a lot of those training modules and training patterns, what we're seeing is that not only is it working, and not only are those workers thriving, but the companies are then taking the model that we have developed here and they are bringing it to other parts of the country. So Tesla, for example, is now working with 8 different community colleges throughout Texas to implement the very model that we developed right here at TMCC to train manufacturing workers and to put them on the plant floor to be able to work with a lot of that automated machinery and to do so very, very effectively right out of the gate.
I love that TMCC is really the test bed for all of these big. I mean, Tesla is a very well-known brand, and
Mhm.
the fact that we have had really great partnerships with a brand like that is speaks volumes to the type of quality students that you're graduating.
Absolutely. They have taken that model and expanded it dramatically. They're also working in Kansas. They're working in other places. Panasonic is working in Kansas to do the very kind of work that we've done together here in other parts of the country. And we feel that it's a testament to the partnership that we have. We aren't upset at all that they're taking the model we've developed and are, kind of expanding it across the country. And we think that if they can bring some little bit of Nevada and what we've done here to other parts of the workforce, so much the better.
Honestly, I think it strengthens your ability to attract new companies in the future, right? Because they'll see you as something that you're, you know, amenable to change, you're flexible to trying something new. And I always really appreciate this about Nevada. We do seem to be a yes and we lean in. We're very innovative at our core. And I find that to be the truth about TMCC.
Yes, we're trying to meet the needs no matter where they take us. It wasn't long ago that there was a company that needed our help. They were located near Fallon. They couldn't bring their workers to us. So we have mobile vans that were provided by GoEd and the Wind Fund to be able to take the training to them. And we did so in a blizzard and we brought it to their shop and we got those workers trained up. We will do what it takes to get those workers ready.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. This was wonderful. And
Happily.
look at this. I've got your pin and I use it for everything.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Goes right back to building that workforce. Nevada is kind of uniquely positioned because we have all these resources within the state, and that means that that workforce that we are providing and building doesn't necessarily only work here. I mean, there are other places where there are critical minerals, but it is kind of a niche for the communities in which we serve. And so when those individuals go out and work in this industry, they are mechanics, they are welders, electricians, all of those things, even within the state of Nevada, are needed not just in mining, but those individuals can also take that throughout our state. And how does that impact the United States just at large? I mean, again, it comes down to all of that gold that's extracted, how it is been produced and shipped and utilized in everything that you see in the United States and outside of that, what's exported.
Well, and you do represent the rural communities, and we have so many Nevadans that live in these areas. And the fact that you have a world-class nursing program, you're making sure that healthcare is provided in these communities, which is literally life and death.
Yeah, and that's one of the commitments and the things that we got initially back in 2013 from the federal government, which was a TACT grant that allowed us to add 3 nursing programs. Since that time, we've added 4 into these small communities, and without that, it's kind of like that medical rural desert. And so right now, the influx of the Rural Health Transformation funding is just going to add to all of those pieces that we already have in play.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me. Thank you for everything you do for our state. I know the people of Elko, Winnemucca, Ely, and Pahrump all really appreciate GBC being there and training their people into a solid workforce.
Okay, well, thank you for allowing me to participate today.
Thank you.
As we wrap up this special America 250 conversation, I want to thank each of our community college presidents for sharing your vision, your leadership, and your unwavering commitment to Nevada's students. Today's conversation is a reminder that the future will be shaped by those who show up, who are prepared, who study, and who never give up. Across our state, our community colleges are preparing the next generation of nurses, teachers, first responders, entrepreneurs, skilled trade professionals, and innovators who will shape Nevada's next chapter. If the first 250 years of our country were built by a generation who believed in opportunity, then I'm incredibly hopeful for the next 250 years because of the students we're investing in today. Nevada has always been a place where people come to reinvent themselves and to build for a better life. Today's community colleges make that possible by opening doors, creating opportunities, and strengthening communities in every corner of our state. Thank you for joining on this special episode of Home Means. If you've enjoyed the conversation, be sure to share your own community college experience in the comments, and then share it with someone who believes in the power of education and the future of Nevada. Until next time, remember, home isn't just where we live, it's what we build together. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of the Home Means community. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share with a friend, and check out our Nevada-inspired merch at homemeanspodcast.com. We'll be back soon with another story about the people who make Nevada feel like home. In the meantime, thank you for being part of the Home Means community.